Okay, Tom Frank here for Evil Giant Robots for Miranda. This is the 4-year anniversary of the project. April 2011 is when I started with the single sketchbook. And I finished the drawing and I mailed it to Alan Yen on the East Coast. And that began this, and we're in sketchbook 4 now, and I don't know, over 500 drawings so far. It's got to be almost 380, maybe 400 and something. Sketchbook 1, let's give an update. Sketchbook 1 is still in Dover, New Jersey with Adam Kubert. I'm scheduled to get it back in June. Comic sketch art will be going to special edition, and they'll be in New York, and they'll pick it up then. And then there'll only be one page left. When I get it back, I'm thinking, or one page before the final page, and Miranda draws that. So I'm thinking the penultimate page, when I get it back, I'd like to write a letter to Crash McCreary and explain the project to him and how I worked with him for 2 weeks in September of 1991, just to try and, prey on emotions and get him to do it. Sketchbook 2 is back here. I mailed it to my mom to take to the Eric Carle Museum in Massachusetts there was a presentation, showing of the work of Uri Shulevitz. And he was there, and he was willing to sign the sketchbook and do like a half doodle face over it. So, that's the best I'm going to get from him. That's what it is. You take what you can get with this project, and you can't predict how enthusiastic or not enthusiastic people are going to be. So for a while, there was a signing by Joe Johnston, famous Star Wars concept artist, and his representation had said that he was considering doing sketching over a year ago, but when he was presented with it this time, he didn't want to do it. Didn't have the time. He would want a ton of money for it. And he's worth it, but, just said no. So you got to move on. Sketchbook number 4 went to London, where Brian Boland wasn't sketching. So big blow to the project there. He is, an Eisner winner, famous artist for Judge Dredd and The Killing Joke. I'll have to try and get him some other time. I do know some people who, Joe Staten, who I played Sketch Fighter with in New York, he's good friends with him. If I had reached out to him, rather than just having my agent at Comic Sketch Art just walk up to the table and, Richard Starkings, who I know through friends, and, I see at conventions all the time. He's apparently good friends with him. So maybe if I reach out to him and Brian Boland shows up at Baltimore, I could contact him beforehand, get him to do one, but that was a big blow. I did get Mike Collins when the sketchbook was in London, and then I came back to London and went to the Emerald City Comic Con, and my agent was just too busy to pass it around. I'd hoped to get Joe Ng, Long Vo, and Max Dunbar to do pages, but the sketchbook just didn't make it to their tables. A lot of those guys will probably be at San Diego, so I can try and get them again there. Just out of the blue, I saw that the Turner Classic Movie Film Festival was, they screened a bunch of movies and they were showing Pinocchio, and there's websites that I check regularly, and one of them is William Joyce's website, and it says that he was going to introduce it, and this looked like a golden opportunity for me, because it wasn't like a book signing for a new book that was going to come out, and he was going to be mobbed by hundreds of kids who were his fans, the way that a lot of book signings go for him. And I went to the screening. I kept looking back to see where he was sitting, and as soon as the screening was over, I just went up to him with the sketchbook. My daughter had done a drawing for him. He loved it. He really loved it, and he did one. Huge guy, Oscar winner, second Oscar winner for the project. Sean Tam was 1, William Joyce number 2. So it was it was an evil giant robot. He did it very quickly in a dark movie theater. And that's what it is, and it's great, and it's William Joyce, and it's got his character. It's not very detailed at all. It's, a doodle, but there's a lot to it. It does have a lot of charm. The next night, I went to the screening for Ralph Bakshi's film festival. They were showing Lord of the Rings and Wizards, and I just couldn't get near him. Miranda and I were going to go up to him and start to explain this project. She did a great drawing for him of characters from Lord of the Rings and Wizards, and we just didn't get the opportunity to. I think like someone like William Joyce, who cares about money? I think Ralph Bakshi would like, if the price was right, he would be happy to do it. But it didn't happen. Went to WonderCon, went right up to Jay Lee, got him to do one. He's a really busy line, but I got there early before, just as he was setting up. And I was the first sketch he did, and he took several hours on it, and he just has a style that is very distinct and full of great design and choices, and he did a great one, and I was really happy to get him. I didn't have sketchbook 4 back from Emerald City where there were no sketches done, so I just had sketchbook 2 at WonderCon. I got some other artists to do them. They were very good. And then I got Rob Liefeld to do one, famous, infamous artist. And here's my experience with him. He was incredibly nice. He liked the project. He went away. He does some sketching at his table, but he would rather do it away from the table. In his hotel room or out, and he was with his sons. And I just got a bust for him, and he, the busts, are showing like a Deadpool or small, and here's this big sketchbook. So we did a real big bust, and it was like a slug robot that continued onto the other page. So it was a 2-page spread, really good design, good choices, not phoned in. We probably flipped through it and said, oh wow, this is cool, but just got excited about the project. And, people are commenting, oh, he did no hands and feet. Well, he gave me way more than I asked for a bust, and a bust isn't going to have hands or feet anyway. So, no complaints. Really good job. So, this past weekend, I took it to the CTN road trip, and there were a bunch of robot experts doing panels there. It's like an outdoor event, and there was the Hilton was there, and there was like a paid thing similar to CTN of how to become a professional artist. And I'd reach out to Darren Quatch, and famous mech guy, and has a sketchbook called Inkworks, and all of these online videos about drawing robots, and really talented, really just the perfect guy for the project. He liked the project, he was happy to do it, but I couldn't find him at the outdoor event. Brainstorm was the school that was sponsoring the paid event, and they had a table there, and I thought he was going to be at the table. So there were a bunch of other artists there, and I got some of them, and some great sketches, but I was really hoping to get Darren Quatch and be introduced to his friends, who are also professional, in that video game world. Kang Lee and John Park were 2 people who famously, draw robots, and I couldn't find them either. And then I was also going to the World Cup of Wrestling in LA, one of my other passions, and there was a famous undefeated college wrestler who's the coach of Penn State now, and an Olympic champion, Cale Sanderson. He was there coaching one of his proteges, Jake Varner, and he was an artist in school. And it was, of the people I asked to do something in this book, I was probably the most nervous for him, because I had to go up to him blind. It's not like I could explain anything to him beforehand. And Jake Varner had just wrestled a match, and I was on the floor, and I got this thing, and he's just like, yeah, sure. And I'm like, oh, if you just draw a little doodle. And the thing is, like, I think he would have done more if I hadn't been so, oh, just do something quick. So, my bad for not sort of being, having more chutzpah. But I did get something from him, and it's great, Not a lot of sketchbooks are going to have Cale Sanderson. So then I went in the middle of the second day of the World Cup. I went back to CTN. I had reached out to Darren Quach, and he found a place to meet me after one of his panels. And he did one, and he introduced me to Colin Lee and John Park and the project to them. So at some point down the road, they'll at least know what it is. And I do have them in my sights. I definitely want Evil Giant Robots from them. So, CTN Road Trip, I sketchbooks 2 and 4 going. Sketchbook 3 is still in Japan with Matt Alt. I mailed sketchbook 2 to the Philippines. Jimbo Salgado had agreed to do one in the London Super Comic Con, but he couldn't make his appearance because of commitments to assignments. So he's still in the Philippines. So he said, like, hey, you can mail it to me. And I said, well, can I get some other artists in the Philippines? And he said, sure. So Emil Cabaltierra is going to do one, and Harvey Tolibao. Both great artists. And they're sort of friendly with each other. And you definitely, when you can get competition going, it definitely yields good inspiration and effort. So I'm very optimistic about this tour of the Philippines that Sketchbook 4 has just embarked on. Sketchbook is on its way there right now during the 4th anniversary of Evil Giant Robots for Miranda. So that's what's happened, and in green is what's coming up. LA Times Festival of Books. Jillian Tamaki, who was nominated for a Caldecott this year, I reached out to her at her website. I haven't told her that it's robots or what the theme is, but she's agreed to do one. So I've sort of put her in a place where if she hates drawing robots, it's difficult for her to back out now, especially with my daughter right there, who's going to be looking at her with big eyes, as I've trained her to do. Eugene Yelchin is there, Russian artist. I'd like to get him. Jeff Kinney is there, who I would like to get. It would just be good, Diary of a Wimpy Kid, but he's not going to be there on Saturday, and that's the day that I'm going to be there, because on Sunday I'm going to Star Wars Celebration in Anaheim. And Doug Chiang is going to be there, and Dave Filani. I have no idea how easy it will be, or possible it will be, to get sketches from them, but by golly, we will try. Free Comic-Con Day at the Comic Bug in Culver City. We're doing a sketch fighter event there, but there's going to be tons of artists. I'll try and get some sketches, of course, for my daughter on her birthday weekend. This is the 4th anniversary of the project, and she will turn 12 on May the 4th. She's born on Star Wars Day. May the 4th be with you. So, special edition comic sketch art will be going, and that's in New York, so he'll have a chance to get Sketchbook 1 back, as I mentioned earlier, from Adam Coopert. Heroes Con, I will mail Sketchbook 4, Sketchbook 1, special edition Sketchbook 4, I'll mail to Heroes Con, to Brad Rader again, who did a great job getting sketches for me last year. Right now, Nate Simpson, who non-player number 2 is coming out. I asked him in 2011 if he would do a sketch after non-player 1 came out. He said yes. I emailed him again now that non-player 2 has finally come out, and he says he said when a man agrees to draw a robot in a sketchbook, his bond is his word. So this is the only convention he's doing, and he is definitely committed to doing a sketch for me there. Dave Lochter is there. A great artist. I didn't get him last year. I was trying to also get him in London if things fell out, but that didn't work out. Bernie Wrightson is there. Brad Rader has gotten a sketch from Bernie before, so maybe he can schmooze his way into getting another one. Maybe he'll like the project enough. The ALA conference, the guests really haven't been announced much. Eugene Yang is going to be there, and I'd like to get one from him. That would be a good opportunity. But in terms of Caldecott winners, I know Brian Selznick, author of Hugo Cabret and Wonderstruck and Dinosaurs of Waterhouse Hawkins, he's going to be at Book Expo America. I believe he's got a book coming out. So I would not be surprised if he was at the ALA conference. Alan Say has a sequel to Drawing from Memory coming out in the fall, so he should be at the conference. Peggy Rathman, who won a Caldecott. She lives near San Francisco. I wouldn't be surprised if she was there. Other nominees for the Caldecott this year, which was won by Dan Santat, or I already have. Mary Grand Prix should be there. All of the nominees should be there. So ALA, very successful last year, hoping to, it's just as successful in San Francisco this year. Really looking forward to it. Fun time. CTN, ALA, I really feel like there's less competition. There's people not doing what I'm doing. You go to San Diego Comic-Con, and it's just like everyone's trying to get sketches, and the lines are so long, and everyone has similar agendas. So it's good to mix it up. Florida SuperCon, Frank Whiteley is going to be there. I have reached out to More Great Art for a while. I did talk to Frank Whiteley at the New York Comic Con. He said, work it out with More Great Art. That's where we're hoping to get him. I guess it would be Sketchbook 4, but I wouldn't be opposed to sending Sketchbook 2 to that. Or even Sketchbook 1. Have the penultimate page be Frank Whiteley. That's a big deal. Anime Expo, beginning of July. Who knows who's going to be there? Who knows if it's going to be difficult to get artists? But it's right here in LA. It's worth a shot. And then here's a big, San Diego Comic-Con. David Aja is going to be there. Famous artist for Hawkeye. Eisner winner. This is a rare U.S. appearance for him. I will wait in whatever line I need to wait in. I believe he doesn't charge for sketches. I think he would love the project. He's difficult to reach out to online, but what the hell. Bruce Timm, I'd like to get him. Carlos Ezquerra, Luis Royo. Whoever wins the Eisner this year, I think the nominees are going to be announced soon. Peter Bagg, Matt Phelan. Shinji Aramaki was there last year. I'm hoping it would be great if he was there then. Again, John Cassaday, big Star Wars year. Maybe he'll make some appearance. The thing is, it's not just the guests at San Diego, because there's all of these events going on and people are brought that aren't official guests, and they're there. You just got to track them down. Who was there last year? P. Craig Russell was there last year, and I didn't know it. I could have cornered him with a gun and said, draw a sketch, because he doesn't do a whole lot of sketches. I didn't get Longvo and Joe Ng or Max Dunbar at Emerald City. Maybe they'll be at San Diego. I'm convinced they draw out great robots. And then Boston Comic Con, Eduardo Risso. I did reach out to his representation. He is planning on doing a sketch there. So that's what I got for now. It's, hits and misses. Big hits, big misses so far, and it's continued to be that. We'll see what happens. This is basically going through the beginning of August. Going beyond that, who knows? A lot of guests aren't even announced yet. But thank you for following for 4 years. Project's not done. We still got a ways to go. But the rest of the journey it's been a remarkable journey so far. I'm just having so much fun doing this and doing it with my daughter. And I look forward to continuing this. So please keep following.